All right, so again, today we are going to focus on defining a true swing position. Now, in order to confirm a true swing position, technically you need 5 candles. 5 candles will truly define a swing position. I'm going to zoom out here. We'll start here on the monthly since it's bigger. All right, now here, of course, the swing positions are identified by peaks and troughs. Troughs are going to be the lowest points on a chart or a swing position. Now, we'll focus on looking at this area in here, this most recent area here on the Euro USD. If we look at that peak candle that formed, which is right here, this candle would be considered 0. Okay, find the peak candle and identify that as 0. Okay, and you'll start with your first 2 candles, the first 2 candles to the left. All right, when it comes to a peak, if the first 2 candles to the left have lower highs, you have half of what you need to confirm this as a swing high. This first candle would be considered -1. The second candle here will be considered -2. As long as they have lower highs than 0. All right. Then in real time, of course, you'll be anticipating or waiting for 1 + 1 and +2 to confirm. That gives you your full 5 candles. All right. And once +2 is confirmed by, or +1 and +2 is confirmed by lower highs, you have a solid swing high. All right, you've got a solid swing high. Now, looking at this swing high, of course, we came down here. Now, the same thing confirms a swing low. And what I mean by that is now we have the peak low here being 0, -1, -2, because they have higher lows, +1, +2, because they have higher lows. So with this being the initial swing high, this being a swing low, the swing high was retested, the swing low was broke. Now, looking at this swing high, we have another 0 candle here, -1, -2, +1, +2, at the retest of this 0. All right, now this 0, the swing low, has been broke. All right, so now we'll be heading in a downtrend until we at least have another 0 candle. And then of course -1 and -2 are going to be being created because they're going to be higher lows than the current candle as 0 forms. Now, for looking farther back to the left, this is the most recent 0 on the monthly chart. +1, +2, -1, -2. So our supportive level here on the monthly is down here. This is 0. So ultimately, you've got to go retest this level, because this is the only support. And that's down at $1.05, almost 10,000 pips from where we're currently at. And that's just on the monthly. So now we know and can confirm we're still solid in a downtrend. Now, knowing that we're in a downtrend here on the monthly, here's the weekly. We know this is the most recent zero level on the monthly, and we're in that level now. Now we're looking at the weekly. We have a zero candle. Here's the zero candle. Here's the -1. Here's the -2. Here's 1. 1's still being created, so it's not confirmed yet, because this 1 candle will likely come down here, take out 0, and become 0 all by itself. And then this is now -1 and -2. Which we would still be waiting on +1 and +2. Everybody following me so far on the 5 points that confirm a swing position, a swing high or swing low? Let me get a thumbs up if y'all following me there. And let me know if that helped anybody else define their swings. And 0 is going to ultimately be your support or resistance. The 0 candle is your support or resistance. By the peak or trough on any swing, first just identify 0. So for example, here's a 0 candle, here's a 0 candle, here's a 0 candle, here's a 0 candle. All right, here's -1, -2. When it comes to the lows, you need 2 higher lows on the left and 2 higher lows on the right. When it comes to highs, you need 2 lower highs on the left and 2 lower highs on the right. Same here. And they have to be consecutive. It doesn't, so here would be 0. 0 candle. -1. Now, even if -2 is higher than -1, as long as it's not above 0, it's still solid. I know that's ugly, but shit, that's ugly as hell. Hold on. Let me see if I can find one that actually exceeded that. Did that make a little more sense? I'm actually going to go into a lower time frame, because since we're in a downtrend here, we're going to see it quite a bit. Let's go in here to the hour. All right, looking here at real time on this hour, here's 0. Here's -1, higher low. Here's -2, higher low. Although they're in the same area, they still are higher than 0. Here's +1. We can't confirm this as +2 yet because it's still being formed. This will likely come down here and create 0 all by itself. Then this stuff here is no longer valid. All 5 points have to be confirmed for that to be a solid support or resistance area. Here's the 15-minute chart, real time. Look in here. Here's 0. -1, -2, +1, +2. +2 only retested 0. And here is, so we got all 5 points. We got 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. We're likely going to be coming down here in this direction now. That make a little more sense? So first you have to find 0. And that's just identified by, of course, the peak candle. So here's another one. Here's 0 again. So here's 0, here's a 0, here's a 0, and here's a 0. And that's just because the 2 preceding candles and the 2 following candles both have lower highs and relative to 0. As long as 0 is solid, you can find +1 or +2 to the left and right. And again, 0 is going to ultimately be your strongest support or resistance point. So for the downside, as I said, we got 0 here, -1, -2, +1, +2. So the supportive level here off the 15-minute chart, yeah, I'm on the 15. The 15-minute chart would be there. Which is 0. Then moving up, we got this 0. We've got -2, -1, +1, +2. So swing high confirmed. As far as the swing low is considered, here's a 0, but here's a -1, but there can't be a -2 because this candle is lower than 0. So this is not a swing low. Make sense? This is not a swing low because if you go 2 candles back, this candle's lower. So this is not a swing low. And this candle is likely coming here. It's going to make its way down there. Because we do not have a 0. We don't have a 0 yet. All we have is a 0 for resistance. So now we could get in here again. Same thing, you want to do this, you want to apply this with your top-down analysis. So let's go in here to the 5-minute. Here on the 5-minute, we got 0. Here's 0, here's 1, here's -2. Here's +1, here's +2. Make sense? Everybody following me there? Now, here, we can look at it at this perspective here. Here's a 0. Here's a 1. Here's a 2. Here's a 1. Here's a 2. So here's the support. Also, now you can start factoring in the RSI. Look at the RSI. It's right there at baseline, 50. We can also apply Fibonacci in this situation. Swing low, 0 to 0. We can look at our Fibonacci there and see 0 to 0. Zero to 0. Now, as far as this particular, I'm gonna take the RSI completely off so we can see a little more of the chart. So in this situation, we can actually look at this as being a new zero because it's low. It's got 1 and -2. Here's +1. Here's potential +2. But we'd have to wait until this candle closes because it could simply come down here and smack 0, which is what I believe is going to happen anyway. It's going to come down here and smack 0 because it's heading to retest this 0. That makes sense? Your entry would come off the confirmation of +2. Your entry would come off the confirmation of +2. So looking at this situation as 0, -1, -2, +1, +2. Your entry would have came right here off the confirmation of the +2. That makes sense? Right, you'll be entering on +3. Your entry is taken off +3. So now from here, we'll be coming down here and taking this out. Now, mind you, you still have to keep in mind the higher time frame. The higher time frame over here off the hour, which has a 0. It has a 0, has the 1 and -2, has a +1, +2 is forming. And again, I believe this is going to come down here and smack this 0 and create a 0 all by itself. So then we'd have to start the count all over because this would no longer be the swing low. That makes sense? Also, like I said earlier, 0 is going to be your strongest support and resistance area. Once you find 0, it's no different than finding I've been looking at the chart and finding the peak. But at the same time, the true definition of a swing is 5 candles: 0, -1, -2, +1, +2. Notice how +2 did not break 0. So this would be a 0 coming down. This would be a 0 coming up. This would be a 0. And this is how fractals work. All right, you need 5 points for a fractal to pop up. You need 0, -1, -2, +1, +2. 0, 0, 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. So with all those zeros in the same area, you can clearly see that this is a range. Everybody see that? Yes, for the trough, the higher lows to the left and the right. For a peak, lower highs to the left and the right. So for a trough, +1, +2, -1, and -2 have to have higher lows. So now let's go to holler at the 5-minute chart. Here we got 0, 0, 0, 0. So with those areas highlighted, resistance, support, double top at resistance, support. Coming in, looking at the 1 minute. Of course, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So labeling, identifying those points. This is actually a 0 right here as well. Notice how price, all it just did was retest 0. So on the 1 minute chart, as we can see, clearly see, there was a range formed right here. That really stands out right there. Once you start to identify your 0 points, that really stands out. Everybody see how that created the range there? We can also now start applying our Fibonacci once we have our peaks and valleys and things of that nature. And a true placement for your Fibonacci is 0 to 0. All right, 0.0 to 0.0. Retrace came to 0.0, back to a 0.0, back to a 0.0. Now we have another 0.0. Now looking here at real time at what's forming. This candle here would now be establishing a new 0. Let's pull our Fibonacci from here, from 0 to 0. All right, that's 0.0 to 0.0. Retrace 61.8. So now this candle being a new peak, we're looking for it to establish itself at 0. We already have -1 and -2. Now that we're getting a 0, we just need 2 or +1 and +2 to come in. +1, the first candle here must be lower than 0, or it becomes 0 itself. That makes sense? If this candle currently in real time breaches 0, it becomes 0. That makes sense? But if it does not break 0, it will become +1. Then we just need another low, lower than 0, 0.2. Then we'll be off for the races. Okay, good deal. So Pat, that goes to where you were saying support and resistance isn't real. Well, if you look at it that way, just find 0 and trade off 0, because 0 is going to be your support and resistance. We've got that 0. We've got -1, -2. We've got -1. Here's -2 forming now. As long as it's high, does not exceed 0. And if you look at the Fibonacci, that retrace for this new 0 is right on the 61.8. So that's the beginning of an A, B, C, D pattern. And of course, we know it's 8:45, so we know New York's going to get in here and shift the market up, shake the market up pretty well. So let's go and look at what do we want to look at? Let's look at pound based on the markups we did yesterday here. Where would it here. All right, so here's pound based on the markups we did yesterday. If you look, the high of yesterday is what formed 0. Today, we retested 0. We haven't exceeded it yet. We have just tested 0. But 0 still hasn't been broken. So what we would be seeing today, if we come in here to the hour, is a retest to yesterday's high. So looking at pound on this naked chart here, here's 0. All right, here's another 0. It's got 1, -1, and -2. Once this candle closes, we'll have +1, then we just need +2, and then we should be confirmed for our swing high fall. Here we got 0, 1, -2, +1, +2. So we already know that this level here is a swing high because it's 0, it's got all 5 points. It's got 0, +1, and +2. So now we know where we're at in the market. Plus, if you drag this all the way over to the left, we're looking at that. Coming in here to real time here on the, let's go to the 15 minute. Again, we've got 0, we've got -1, we've got -2, we've got +1, and we've got +2. As long as now, with that, level 0 is being retested literally in real time right now. Here from the downside, here's a 0. Here's a -1, here's a -2, here's a +1, here's a +2. So we would be looking at it from this perspective. Now, once we have that, remember, Fibonacci, 0 to 0. So if we look down, here's a 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. I'm gonna retrace that. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. Fibonacci, 0 to 0. That 0 was off of 38. All right. Now, if we look at this candle here, this candle has now formed a 0, a lower 0, a lower 0. We've got 1 and 2. If this high is lower than 0, we've got 1. We just need 2, and we've confirmed a swing low. Or a lower swing high. That makes sense? So we would be looking at this. This is a real nice, actually, this is a real nice M pattern. And just real quick, when you guys join in the sessions, try to have a name and not just user. When you guys enter the Zooms, make sure you got a name and it don't just say user 1. Because I'd be ignoring those users. You can use this method when it comes to closing figures. Yes. Yes, you can use this to identify take profit levels and ultimately trend reversals. So yeah, both, Malik. So again, looking here at this current price, this current 15-minute chart that we're staring at right now, we've got a new zero. By the time you get zero, you've already got -1 and -2. All you have to wait for confirmation on is +1 and +2. So let's go look at, let's take a look at, what do I want to look at? Let's look at gold. Is there any pair that I haven't discussed over the last 2 days that you guys want to actually take a look at? I know we're currently in some trades on pound USD, Euro USD, and Aussie USD. But if there's anything, let's see, UJ. All right, yeah, let's go take a look at UJ. All right, looking here at UJ, just right off the bat, let's go ahead and identify the 0 points on this 4-hour chart. All right, I'll pull GJ up next. All right, just looking at the 0 points, of course, they're at peaks. 0, 1, 2, 1, 2. We moving up, moving up, moving up. Here goes another 0, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's another 0, 1, 2, 1, 2. So here's a resistance. Here's the support. Notice how this particular resistance, once it was broken, it became support. All right. Once it was broken here, it became support here. So just right off the back, I can see UJ's going up. UJ's bullish. But we'll actually start to actually define how that's said to be true. Here's another 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's a 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's another 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's the 0. At this 0, supportive. Here's a 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, at this particular 0 would be resistance. And as you can see, the current candle is pushing through 0. This is the 4-hour chart, so this is pushing up. Here is a 0. Now, let me draw this. Here's for this 0, because remember, this is 0 over here too. Support, broken through, resistance, becoming support again. Here's a 0 up here. Here's a 0 right here. Everybody following me there? So UJ is bullish. From here, we can also go into the lower time frames to confirm that. We've got this mapped out. Let's go to the hour and see what's going on. down here on the hour. Inside of those levels that we drew, identifying 0 points on the 4 hour. Here's a current 0. Here's 1, 2. This potential 1 plus 1 is being formed right now. Of course, as long as if it closes with a lower high, it is truly 1. But we would still have to wait on candle 2, because candle 2 is likely going to be the one to break 0 and move up like this, if it doesn't happen on this current hour now. So with that being said, there is a position to be taken on UJ. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take it. All right, let's go in here to the 30-minute. Here on the 30-minute. Let's use the Fibonacci in this situation, okay? Find 0. Where's the most recent 0 on a complete swing? Here. 0, 1, 2, 1, 2. Where's the next 0? Here. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm actually go ahead and enter before I miss it. This bitch gonna shoot. All right. So let me see where that trade went. All right, I'm in there. All right, I did place a buy on UJ. I'm gonna put the coordinates for the stop loss and everything in just a second. Whew. All right, so with that being said, 0 to 0, Fibonacci time. Remember, Fibonacci, 0 to 0. 0 to 0 is Fibonacci time. 0 here to this 0, Fibonacci. All right, that particular bounce came off 23. Let's continue up because we still got some more 0 points. Let's go ahead and now look at this level being 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. This also being 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's another 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, we got 1, 2, 1, 2. We've got plenty of zeros here. So now let's use the Fibonacci again. Let's take it, this time let's take it all the way from here to here. Now look at the Fibonacci. 38. 38, bounce, which gives us what? An opportunity to take advantage of an ABCD pattern. So with that ABCD pattern in there, swing low, swing high, back to C. Now we have D. Which if we zoom out, brings us right back into one of our previous zones that we identified on the 4-hour chart. Everybody see that? Give me a thumbs up if y'all still following me. Ain't nobody sleep out there, right? Y'all ain't sleep, is you? I'm gonna go ahead and spark up this good Las Vegas bud real quick. Make sure I don't fall asleep. All right. I say Las Vegas bud because they only sell bud here in Las Vegas that's grown in Las Vegas. We ain't got no Cali bud unless you get it out the street. And I don't be in the street no more. But anyway, let's see. All right, so there's UJ in a nutshell. In a nutshell, there's UJ. So now let's move on and shift our focus on, what was that other one you guys wanted? I think it was GJ. Look at GJ. She's a fucking loose cannon, but let's go take a look at her. All right, gold. Okay, we'll look at gold next too. All right, now here's on GJ. Now, of course, when you apply this method of identifying your swing with those 5 points, apply that to your top-down analysis. So apply that strategy with your current top-down analysis. All right. Remember, everything runs consecutive. So all these strategies, when you start combining all of them together, your trading is going to become flawless. Like it's in my head now, so it's easy for me to just look at the chart and be able to see all the 0 points just by staring at it without even marking it up. I can see every 0 on this chart already. And just at a glance, we'll go ahead and point some out. Here's a 0. 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 Now, again, 0 levels are where you would potentially see fractals. So if I went in there and I turned on my fractals, I just eyeballed fractals. There would be your fractals. I just eyeballed about 6 fractals. But it's simply, it takes 5 points for a fractal to show up. A lot of people don't know that. They'd be like, what determines a fractal? All 5 points, 0 plus 1, minus 1, plus 2, plus minus 2. 0 plus 1, minus 1, plus 2, minus 2. That confirms a fractal. That's the data the computer looks for when fractal is indicated on your chart. So let's go ahead and now start to dissect this GJ. All right, GJ. Looking here at GJ, I'm gonna take these fractals off because I actually don't know. Let's see. Take the data off. And I'll go ahead and take the RS out. So we're on a completely naked chart. Now, again, I'm straight on the 4 hour. I didn't do the top-down analysis or anything. I'm working straight with the 4 hour. We've got zero here, a 0 here, a 0 here, a 0 here, 0 here, and a 0 here. Now, using these points to our advantage, we can clearly see that with these lower highs and lower lows, this was a downward swing until we got right here. And now this formed the ultimate low. Mind you, each swing high or swing low is, or just going back to the concept I was saying, zeros are going to be your strongest support and resistance areas. So this is a resistance. This would be a resistance, but as you see now, prices broke this one. Price broke this one. So now let's just say all other data is irrelevant. We've broken that support level, so we can anticipate now analyzing just this move. We don't even have to worry about this move anymore because we broke this support resistance level. We know this area is now in support. So now we can just focus on what's going on in this zone. So now we could easily just simply go down to the 1 hour and see what's really going on. All right, here on the 1 hour, we've got a 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 1. Here's 2. If 2 confirms and holds lower than here, because it is a pound pair, I do know pound is falling. So with this being 0, we got -1, -2 to the left. We've got a confirmed +1. We're waiting on the confirmation from +2. But now we can go and just consider our intraday rules. Have we breached the previous day high? Yes. We're at it now, retesting this previous 0. There's the resistance. It's holding. So we'll likely see this come down as well. Again, here would be the 0. So that would be the support level. And that's why GJ is considered that wild animal, because although UJ is going up, GJ is actually showing a bearish situation. So if you use any type of correlations and everything, GJ is not one to try to correlate, because pounds falling, UJ going up, GJ is at an imbalance. That's one of the reasons in particular I don't even trade GJ. I trade pairs that aren't going to try to trick you, because they're literally, I mean, that's what the market's designed to do. The market's designed to take your money. So any pair that I know ultimately is only after your money, such as GJ, because it's all over the place. It doesn't match pretty much any other market sentiment in the market. It does its own fucking thing, literally. But just looking at it from this perspective, we should see it be coming down. Now, remember, zeros to 0 points. So 0, with this being a 0, this being a 0, this being a 0, and this being a 0, this being a 0. As you see, that is an upward move. Yeah, it should definitely tank, but with what's going on with the yen, it might gain. So I literally avoid fucking GJ. I ain't even gonna lie to you. My major crosses is Euro Pound and Pound USD, gold and UCAD. Yeah, Euro USD, Pound USD are what's the word I'm looking for? Shit, my mind just went blank. Oh, shit. Yeah. But what was I saying? Euro Pound. Euro Pound is actually my favorite cross of all time. I wouldn't even say I have two favorite crosses, but my favorite cross would be Euro Pound. My favorite major is Pound USD. One reason in particular is those two, because Pound USD and Euro Pound always move opposite. So right now, we're likely, if I pull up Euro Pound, it's likely bullish as hell, or about to turn bullish as hell, because I know the pound's headed down. Yeah, see, it's at the low of the week being formed now. We're gonna see this. So as a matter of fact, now that we just pointed that out at the low, let's go ahead and analyze the position to take on Euro Pound. Mind you, when my strategies come to reading the charts, patterns, and everything, I don't care. It really doesn't matter what asset you're looking at. It's universal. I've just studied patterns over the last 6 years. All I've studied is patterns and market structure. So what I do on one pair can be done on every single pair. The only thing that's going to be the factor on which you decide to take a position is what time of the market you're entering, what sessions in play, and if there's any data or fundamental news. But as far as reading the structure, price action, and market structure and market sentiment, it's all the same across the board. I'll pick an asset blindfolded and be able to read it. But the one thing I will pay attention to before I take the position is what session I'm looking to take the trade. That makes sense? So let's go ahead and grab this so we can grab this position here at the low. And right off the bat, I can see 0, 0. So just practice when you open a chart, just drop it completely naked. Nothing on the charts. And then just find your zeros. Just look for zeros. I mean, you can turn your fractals on and they'll stand out for you. They'll be marked by the fractals. But if you want to practice and train your eyes, just come in here and find your own zeros. And if you want confirmation, then turn your fractals on. All right, turn your fractals on just to confirm you know what you're marking your zeros right. Everybody good on that? Everybody understand what I meant? Let's go back and hit zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Here's the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Ooh, Euro, these prayers, they finna get funky right now. All our trades just shifted into some more profit, all our swings from yesterday. So did anybody hold those positions we took yesterday? I know they were slow moving. Of course, it was a Monday, so they were kind of slow moving, but they active as hell now. Yes, sir. Okay, so that's a good indication that we're going to get a nice position here, a nice entry off of this euro pound. If you notice, we've already got 0. The only reason we don't have a fractal here down here at the bottom is because, remember, the computer is looking for all 5 points to confirm before the fractal appears. Here we have 0, -1, -2, +1, but there's no +2. So by training your eyes, you can beat the fractal from showing up. We know the fractal's waiting on +2. Looking at the 4-hour candle, the fractal's not going to come for another 8 hours because it's +1's got to close and +2's got to close. It's the 4-hour time frame, so that ain't happening until damn fucking 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if you were waiting on the fractal, it would be a while. But being able to eyeball it, we already know that this is 0 plus -1 plus -1 -2 +1 and +2 is coming. So with that being said, we can get ahead of the gun. We also know that it's New York session. New York session just started at 8:30. So we know New York reversal's coming in. So here we got 0. I'm gonna actually move a little faster so we can take a position. Looking at 0, look at the low. 0 on the 4-hour, 0 on the 2-hour. Now, if you look here, the 1-hour already has a fractal. Here's 0, here's -1, here's -2, here's +1, here's +2. Notice how +2's low is already higher. Then if you understand the candlestick patterns, this candle is gonna do this. So let's go ahead and slide a position here on euro pound. I'll put the coordinates in just a second, but since we're live, we know our stop goes below the low of the day. Now we can come into the 30-minute, same thing. We got 0, +1, +2. This candle here, like I stated, gonna do that. Because now we can factor in not only the swing low, swing high, highs, being able to identify 0, 1, 0, 1, +2, and 3, or +1, -1. Not only can we identify that, now we know to apply our intraday rules. Has it exceeded yesterday's low? Yes. Is it in the appropriate session? It's New York, yes. Where's the Asian range? Right here. So that would indicate what? This would indicate that London session came down, set the low of the day. New York session is going to go set the high. Everybody following me? Facts. It's a Doji Morningstar. So knowing the patterns that form at these levels give you an excessive advantage or extreme advantage, massive advantage. Understanding the patterns that form at these levels helps you attack the market with full confidence. Not only do you have to understand the patterns, you have to understand where to even look for these patterns, because the pattern's going to show up everywhere. Every candlestick makes a pattern. You know what I'm saying? Every single candlestick makes a pattern. But the money's where knowing where to expect a pattern, because you can then start drawing the patterns in your head and literally take full advantage of the market. I mean, you can literally eat it up. I eat it up. You can literally have your way with that. You can literally have your way with the market. Same with, now this is also, we'll get into the binary options strategy a little later, but I trade binary options the same way. Like when I analyzed this euro pound and I seen this position down here, I took a 30-minute binary. I'm in profit, been in profit since I entered 10 minutes ago. It was painless. 30-minute binary, clicked it with my eyes closed. Yeah, I'm already in the position. I actually, that's one benefit of being on live. I didn't get a chance to send the alert out, but we took the trade. But yeah, I did enter this euro pound long stop below the low. So your stop would be here. Stop below zero. Put your stop below zero. And that's if you're scalping, swinging it, or whatever. When you take a position, your stop goes behind zero. If that helps anybody understand where to put your stop below zero, behind zero. That should help a couple people understand where exactly to put their stop. Put that thing behind zero. But like I said, that was a painless binary options trade, painless Forex trade. We could literally set our TP 50 pips. Hell, if we wanted to, all we have to do is target this zero. Take our profit. Hell, we can go back to sleep right now if we wanted to. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so comfortable when I trade. When I enter a trade, it's like I'm just chilling. There's no stress whatsoever. And another advantage I had is, of course, I didn't learn the traditional way like everybody else. I pretty much created my own rocket science. I didn't necessarily have to learn the rocket science of somebody else. I created my own rocket science. That makes sense? And give me just a minute. We'll take a little 5-minute, 10-minute break. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh yeah, most definitely appreciate you, Greg. Most definitely, my boy. All right. What was another pair? Somebody said something about gold earlier, I think. Let me go back in the chat. Okay, we said GU. Oh no, GU, GJ, gold. Okay, yeah, gold. Let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. I actually haven't taken any positions on gold since we closed out last week. Let me see. It's most likely going to be falling this week, though. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look. All right. Looking at gold just right off the bat here at the 4-hour chart. Let me get this extra data off. Again, if you haven't downloaded the official template, this is it here. This is one of them. I've got a lot more. I've got some with volumes and stuff like that, but I'm still working on customizing the settings on them. So for right now, we just got this one. But just right off the bat, let's go ahead and hit some of these 0 points. One is a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And if you don't know what I'm looking at when I'm hitting these zeros, when you get a second, just replay this video. I talked about it pretty much the whole first 30 minutes or so. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we see that was definitely a downtrend. Because not only am I just marking up zeros, I'm also marking up swing highs and swing lows. That's just it, swing highs and swing lows. Now, whether or not they're in consecutive swing low after swing low after swing high, that's what we have to look at with our own eyes. What I'm just marking off with a 0 is just that level in general, a swing high, a swing low. Whether they're consecutive all depends on whether or not we can actually see the chart or not. Because if we can see the chart, that's how we're able to tell, not just by marking the zeros. All the zeros are indicating are swing highs and swing lows. That's it. Good deal, good sell on that. Yeah, she's gold should be heading down. I did a one-on-one with gold actually over the weekend. I see gold going back down about 12. Gold's gonna go back and retouch 12, 13 while crypto's on this next run. So if you're looking to sell it, if you're not in a sell, just keep your eyes open for finding a sell opportunity. Yeah, gold on the way. It might take a couple months, but long-term swing goes on its way. I say 6 or 7 months, it'll be down there. All right, so again, just to hop on this gold real quick. I'm gonna take everything out of here. All right, now, what I'm gonna look at is really, I'm gonna look at the most recent. I'm gonna just look at this area. All right, so starting from over here, I know this was a 0. We got 0, plus, -1, -2, +1, +2. I know that's a 0. Plus, I could just right off the bat eyeball that this level was retested and it was structured. We can see that with the base patterns and everything that are right there on the chart. We didn't have to really do any extensive analysis to understand that this level would look even, it looks like support. I mean, if you look at it, it's a key level without even having to do too much eye work or any analysis. But anyway, to continue, then we got another 0 point here. Another 0 point here. And we move along. We could indicate this one, but we don't have to. But if you really want to be very precise, it will help if you look to the right of this particular area that I just put this last horizontal vertical line. It does play a huge role here. So I mean, it helps. And my binary options trade just won, by the way, on that euro pound. So we should still be in profit there on Forex. That's why whenever I take a binary options position, I'm taking the same trade Forex. I just might have and I'm only taking binary positions on trades that I'm taking in Forex for the simple fact, if I take the trade on Forex, I'm looking for 50 to 100 pips. So when it comes to taking the trade on binary, I ain't got to worry about just one. You know what I'm saying? Binary, you got to win by 1 pip. But if I'm targeting 1,500, 1 is a breeze. If that makes sense. Let me get a thumbs up if that makes sense. When it comes to binary in a nutshell, that's all you got to consider. When you're taking the trade in Forex, you're looking for 50 to 100 pips. When you take the trade in binary, you only need 1. So when it comes to those, I mean, it is possible to take, 3, 5, 10-minute trades, but if you can eyeball 50 pips, just wait for your perfect entry and take the binary for 30, 45 minutes. Easy. You'll win them every time. All right, so to continue, and then you can, that 10 and 0 compound sheet I got where you can really run it up. You can do that left and right. All right, so now I just hit this 0 point right here. You look, it would be 0 because if you look to the left, we got -1, -1. To the right, we got +1, +2. So I'm gonna drag that all the way across. As you see, gold is failing that level right now. So right now, I mean, yeah, yesterday, Alvin, that was a perfect way to catch the high of the week because you likely just caught the high of the quarter as well. Because now, as you see from here, price is going to be moving in this direction. It's likely going to come crack this. Right, that's why I say if you take a 30-minute trade and you're looking for 100 pips, you're bound to have at least that 1. And that's all you need to win the binary. So just take our trades on binary once you've identified a 0. On say you would need to identify 0 on say the 30-minute or 1 hour. If you identify a 0 point on the 30-minute or 1 hour, just take a 1 hour or so trade. I mean, of course, if you're taking $5 trades, you'll have to take quite a few. But on a daily basis, if say for instance you build your account up and you're sitting on, you want to take a $100 binary or one $500 binary, that profit's $450. So you would only need to take 1 a day. You ain't got to sit there and take 4 or 5 trades. You take 1 binary trade for $500, you make $400 for the day, and you can go back to sleep. You take, I mean, you can get in there and really run it up, do a couple of them. But if you just wanted to create a plan and a steady daily income, you know what I'm saying, consistent, just, take when you get a chance, if you have it, you have it, if you don't, you don't, start small, take one $25 trade every day. That's going to profit you $22. Take that for a week, you get made 100. Next week, then take $50 trades. Then you got that's $40 a pop. For a week, that's $200. Then the next week, do a $100 trade. That $100 trade pop about $75, $80 a pop. Do that for a week, you got $400. Then you run your account up in a month, and now you can do $200 trades a day and make $150 a day with 1 trade. You don't have to take a lot of binary trades. The percentage is 80, but if you're only profiting 80% of 5, you'll have, and psychologically in your mind, you're gonna feel like you need to take 100 trades anyway. But if you're taking one trade at, $100, that's 80. You might be good with that. That makes sense. That's where it all comes down to, really having a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're gonna be chasing your tail. That makes sense. Hopefully that clip for somebody out there. All right, but I'll start rambling. I know I started rambling. Let me go back to this goal. All right, now go to the 1 hour chart. Here, the 1 hour chart now that brings us down. It's really standing right out to us, showing us, hey, sell me, sell me. Now at this point, now that we've highlighted all of our key levels and everything, just to continue on, here's a 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 0. Boom. All the zeros are indicated there. Go to the 30-minute. Boom. 30-minute. Here's yesterday's low. All right, now we're at the intraday rules. Have we breached yesterday's low? No. Have we breached yesterday's high? No. All right, now we know we have to trade to one of them. Because we haven't broken one, we need to trade to one. We need to aim at one. Looking at this chart, I'd aim for the low of yesterday. So, and looking at the chart patterns, I would expect to break yesterday's low. I'm gonna aim at yesterday's low, but I'm likely gonna hit somewhere down here. All right, there's your intraday rule. That's why question number 1, have we broke yesterday's low or yesterday's high? We ain't broke either one of them. Versus on euro pound, have we broke yesterday's low? Yes. All right. That's why that's got to be question number 1. Have we broke yesterday? Depending on wherever price is right now, has it broke the high or low? It's either yes or no. It ain't no maybe, possibly, I think so. It's yes or no. Has it broke yesterday's low? Yes or no. It ain't nothing in between. Don't confuse yourself with that first question. It's a yes or no answer. The answer is yes. You're going to likely be looking for an opportunity to come back inside the range. But it could be an extension. So after you identified yes, now you know what to look for. And with each question, you should have more information on what you need to look for. So the first question would be, have you broke yesterday's high or low? Yes or no? For this example here on gold, the answer is no. So what does that mean? Either we're gonna reverse or we're gonna aim directly at the closest low or previous day LOD or HOD. So price will do either 2 things from right here and nothing else, okay? These are the only 2 possibilities for gold. A bounce here to the other side or a break of yesterday. It's not going to do nothing else but one of those 2 moves. Based on The chart patterns we're looking at, I'm aiming to the low. I'm aiming to the downward move. My money's on the downward move. All right. So you could do two things. If you were entering in this position, you would enter here. Your stop loss would go above the most recent zero here. So your entry would be here. If you were entering right now, most of us, if we were really analyze this, we would have already been in or in yesterday, like Albert. And you would trade to have your target at yesterday's low. Either a take profit, with that being your target to get even out of the trade. So now you know where you're going and how much risk you need to use to make as much as whatever you want to get there. All right, when you have a target, you know what risk amount to use before you take the trade. So if you're looking for $1,000 and you know price is only gonna, if you know your target 1747, how much of a lot size you got to use to make $1,000 on this move? That's where the risk management comes in, or a growth plan, or having a plan. It's not just by taking low risk trades. You gotta have, I mean, you should know, you should have an idea on how much you're gonna make and how much you want to make before you enter the position, or you don't have a plan. But I going to keep to continue going. So I would be targeting the low. And based on the price action situations that we got going on, I would expect to breach the low and head on down in here. So you could either have that as a target or as an area on which you adjust your stop loss. So when price does breach this level, now your stop loss and profit, and you can either add more positions here or just let the current position ride risk-free. But so yeah, now going over here to Euro Pound, same question. Has the price broke yesterday's higher low? In this situation, yes, it has broke the low. Looking out and out of my analysis, and based on even with the just looking at this, I can see the market maker cycle right off the bat. Here's level 1, here's level 2, and here's level 3. 1, 2, 3. That's MAAW. All right. After the MAAW, you know, you get WWVVA or WWVVM. Let me see if I can. Yeah, okay, I can draw it. MAAW. In this situation, since this low is already broken, it's likely going to do this, and it might do this, but it'll be bullish today, maybe retrace tomorrow, and then take off. All right, so we got M, A, and the W going to come. Then we'll have A, M. Oh shit, I did that backwards. Hold on. A, of course, the A is over here. Then it's B. Yeah. All right, so that's in a nutshell. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up and get this. I don't want to start making these too long so they can download in a reasonable fashion, so I can have them uploaded. I'm gonna try to keep them all within an hour and a half, hour and 45. So when we start at 5, we'll typically be done by 9:30, 9:45, as we are now. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording, and happy trading, everyone. See you same time tomorrow.